now it's Huples Cat and Gracie Cat and the Coughing Dog. I've previously done a review of this first aid kit and I recommended it based upon its price. Its price at the time was half price and it was on sale at Sale, S-A-I-L. And of course all my kits have a trademark. Gloves on the outside so you can put gloves on if you've got blood in your hands so you don't get blood all over your first aid gear and ruin it. But this is the kit that I put together myself that I use for multi-day hiking and camping or really arduous outback day hikes, because quite often here I'm a long way from any help, so I need a really bulky first aid kit and it's pretty heavy. When I saw the Adventure Medical kit was on sale at half price for $92, I really wanted it and Kitty looked for it. What Kitty did find was this little baby version. This is the backpack and it's designed for 2 people for 4 days. I found this to be completely inadequate. When I looked up the price, I was shocked. Absolutely not worth the money. If you want to get a kit like this, for 2 people for 4 days in the wilds, build your own. This is the kit I take for 1 or 2 people for 4 days. And it's always being added to and it's always been changed. I'm going to strip it down and we'll go through the contents. Maybe I'll give you some ideas. But first this. This is for 2 people for 4 days. This in my opinion is completely inadequate. And it's also grossly overpriced. I was shocked. $66 really isn't worth it. Even if this was half price, I wouldn't buy this and take it for 2 people for 4 days and expect it to be much use. I'm going to strip this one down first and you can see what's in this, and then we'll do a side-by-side comparison. Hopefully it'll give you some ideas and some tips for what to do for your own first aid, because first aid is something you should be familiar with and able to use in all its forms. When you open the kit, you'll notice I made some slight modifications already. All first aid kits should always have one of these. This is absolutely essential to get you out of the wilderness if you sprain your ankle or hurt your arm. I added this just to identify myself as a registered nurse if I'm at a multi-casualty event. Now this looks good. Let's strip it and see what's in each compartment. What's in the medication compartment? Nothing, so you're supposed to get your own medications. If you are going to do this, the only painkiller you should be using is Tylenol, unless anybody in the party has liver disease. Okay, cuts and scrapes, the boo-boo kit. Some decent quality fabric bandages. I really like these, the knuckle types. I really don't think these are worth getting the finger thin types. But that's it. Okay, instruments and stop bleeding fast. In the instruments you get some okay shears and 3 nappy pins. Oops, I forgot one instrument. Tick removal, not very good. For tick removal, what you actually need is something like this. Long, big, easy to manage, and with a flashlight on it so you can have a good look at what you're doing. This is also great for getting debris out of really deep wounds. Out of interest, a much smaller version of this is worth doing, and if you sterilise it, it actually is good for relieving pressure from blisters. But again, you shouldn't avoid getting blisters in the first place. How do you stop bleeding fast? 1 small, thick pad. Woefully inadequate. Okay, if I spent $66 on this, and Kitty did, and I felt quite sorry for her, what am I going to find in the wound, burn and blister part? I'm expecting this pack to redeem itself at this point, because so far it's been terrible. Wound care, blister and burn. There's literally nothing here for burns, nothing. For blisters? This isn't sterile. I'm not really altogether sure it's going to work very effectively for blisters. Decent quality tape. They do use good stuff in these kits. Little cling bandage is not going to do much for you. And 1 mini tensor type bandage. So unless you're a tiny person, this isn't really going to help. You really need this. Now I put this in as well. For an easy day hike, this is okay. What I'm going to encounter is not really going to bother me. I really need to add stuff to it. But I took the big book from the big kit and put it in here, because it's always kind of fun to read a book when you're on holiday. So that's it for $66. I think it's inadequate, and I think they needed to have more dynamic thinking, and there's things you could have added to this pack and took away from this pack that would improve its overall ability. So this is what's in the top half of it. I've got 2 triangular bandages, great dressing material, always useful. I have 1 eye patch. You should always have at least 1 eye patch. Yeah, I put it in. I'm not really sure I still like these, but it's there. 3 different types of suture. Some small dressings, some bandages, some great tape with a tourniquet in it, not designed to stop blood flow loss, but would reduce blood flow enough to deal with the wound, sterile saline to clean it out, aqua tablets so I can drink fresh water, and also get fresh clean water eventually to clean the wound. Polysporin, because Kitty wanted that and I didn't have it in the kit, so it's in there now for her, and also Afterbite is in there as well for Kitty. A couple of dressing materials, some alcohol hand rub to sterilise anything I need to sterilise, and also to start fires. Some good old-fashioned soap. This is missing in almost everybody's kits. Hand washing with soap is a great way of cleaning yourself if you're dealing with casualties. Speaking of casualties, you might want to give them some alcohol before you start doing wound repair. And if they don't want it, I suggest you might want to drink it as well, because if you're not used to traumas, you're going to be terrified. A flashlight to look into the wound. A tourniquet. I'm not happy with this type of tourniquet now, but they do fit in first aid kits nicely, and I had one, so it's gone in the kit. This isn't for a multi-day adventure kit, this is for a day hike that's in the remote area, or a couple of nights out in the wilds on a designated camping site. So what's in here? Now, I promise you, this section is going to throw you up some surprises. A large amount of dressing material. You need this. This, another triangular bandage from another kit. So I've got 3 triangular bandages. I've only got 2 arms, but I still think this is good. Good for head wounds, good for a lot of things, even good for chest wounds. Some EMT rated actually good shears. A scalpel for wound debridement. A couple of N95 masks in case it's smoky, or I'm dealing with a pandemic type situation. Or more likely there's an open wound and there's bone sticking out. I don't actually want to breathe my germs into the patient. Some more light dressing material. Some dressing materials of different types that are great for burns. Some face wipes for general cleaning, and some sterilizing pads of different types. Remember, people can be allergic. This is to stop people bleeding. Clean out the wound as best you can, put this on as best you can, put this over the top of it as best you can, and then wrap it tightly. If the wound isn't too deep, you can use these. These are called Steri-strips, and these actually work. And when you put them on, you leave them on for 10 to 14 days and remove them one at a time, alternating. First, third, fifth. Then the next day, 2nd, 4th, 6th. Do that for all sutures. Again, you can see my background as a trauma ICU nurse. I'm terrified of septicemia. Again, some cleaning materials from a different type of these. Sterile plastic dressings, absolutely great. They allow the wound to breathe. That's a good thing. But what is this? Just because I'm on vacation going for a hike doesn't mean to say the rest of the world is going to continue as normal. That's a bias. It's called normalcy bias. So I have a small supply of radiation tablets to protect my thyroid in case there's a radiation event before I can get into shelter. There's some really old expired Tamiflu. Not altogether sure whether I'd use that on myself anymore, but it's there. And this. These are called suppositories. You gently put these up your bottom about 1 to 2 inches whilst lying down, and be very careful not to perforate yourself. This is an antiemetic. If you're in a radiation event or you have food poisoning, you're not going to be able to eat or drink anything. You're going to try and you'll rapidly become dehydrated. Putting one of these up your bum gently means you're going to get an antiemetic effect even if you can't eat or drink. I really do recommend suppositories for this sort of thing, and people don't agree with me because of seriously, better to go than die. So that's my kit. It's a work in progress, I'll admit it. There's stuff in there that could be taken out. There's stuff in there that's probably silly. There's stuff in there that I carry around with me that I've never had to use. There's stuff in there I've added to. Oh, super glue and tampons are a really bad idea. Stuff like this, though, is actually a good idea. I got this specifically in case I have joint issues. Cuts on joints can be a real pain, especially if you're still having to work hard. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Really take first aid seriously. It's one of those things that if you need it, you need it. And you don't want to be trying to figure it out after the fact you've been injured. Not a good idea. No first aid, learn it, carry it out, and train with it. That's my advice. Doodles. This video was brought to you by a Sleepy Terrier Production 2025 and Ever Hungry Gracie Cat.